You're about to watch a video that's an excerpt of one of my online courses, free sample if you will. If you enjoy it, please get in touch, dan@brojo.org, and let me know what you think. Now we're going to talk about the basic ways to deal with the 4 different things that can go wrong, starting with a derailer. So as we talked about earlier, a derailer is an unexpected external interference, something that knocked you off track and now you have to kind of get back up again. With derailers, you're almost certainly going to have some sort of pain associated with it. Perhaps it's going to be just the mental or emotional pain of things not going the way you wanted, or the annoyance of somebody interfering. But you could also even sustain physical damage, damage to your finances and resources. There could be some sort of damage to relationships. You never really know, but there's probably going to be some sort of injury or damage. So first and foremost, you need to be thinking about recovery. Is healing possible, and how do I do it? Because there's no point trying to run on a broken foot. You want to make sure that that foot is functioning before you start running again, or otherwise you're going to cripple yourself for life. So recovery needs to be prioritized after a derailer. It could be as small as a few minutes time out to do some deep breathing, or it could be as big as going to see the doctor and getting some surgery. Following the recovery will be acceptance. Injuries tend to leave a scar. There will be some sort of lasting effect to this derailer possibly. Almost certainly at least a little bit emotionally. And that needs to be accepted. You need to understand you're a different person now. However slightly different, you're different. Or your relationship is different, or your work is different, or your body is different. Something's different, and that's the new you. There's no point in clinging to the old one. So the new you is the one that's going to now attempt the goal. And so the goal needs to be adapted to this new you. If you are less abled in some way, if being emotional makes your thinking process slower, or being physically injured makes you move less flexibly, whatever it is, your new plan has to allow for that and be flexible to that. You cannot force the new you to do what the old you was capable of. If it's an obstacle, you should already have planned for this, though there is such a thing, of course, as unexpected obstacles. They're reasonable, everybody else knew about them, but somebody failed to tell you. An obstacle basically requires a workaround. Now, you're still the same person, but there's something in your way. Whereas a derailer knocks you off track and changes you in some way, an obstacle just kind of stops you from moving forward. Essentially, what you're looking at is a workaround. A lot of people want to do things the right way. This is kind of concept in their head, and so when they hit an obstacle, they feel stuck because it's standing in between them and the right way of doing it. But you've got to start thinking, what's the wrong way of doing it that's actually right? What is the way around this thing? Over, under, through? What's the cheat code to this strategy? Rather than trying to do it the gentlemanly way, do it the way that's actually going to work. I want to give you an example here. Tim Ferriss once won the National Chinese Kickboxing competition. Now, he only trained for about 3 months from what I remember, and yet he dominated the national competition. Now, how did he do that? Well, he wasn't a better kickboxer than anybody there, but he was pretty much the biggest guy. And he found out the rules were that if you get thrown out of the ring, you lose. So he basically just picked everyone up and threw them out of the ring. Now, of course, that doesn't fit maybe with the spirit of the sport, but the rules allowed it. That's how you can win, and he won that way. And sometimes that's the way to win. And I don't mean doing something that breaches your integrity, but understanding your integrity and trying to do things smoothly are not the same thing. Sometimes you are allowed to break the rules in your head as long as you don't break the rules that you've agreed to externally. But there are ways around. There are ways through. There are cheat codes that other people have figured out. So when you hit an obstacle, your first thought can be, how do I get around this thing? What's the way I haven't thought of? Now, setback is an obstacle so big that it actually changes the plan. And that's essentially the way to react to it, is it's time to replan what you initially had in mind. The goal can stay the same, but the path to getting there needs to be rewritten from zero. Let's say, for example, that I've decided to climb Mount Everest. I've bought my ticket to Tibet or wherever the hell it is, and I've got it all planned out, how I'm going to go to base camp and climb the mountain and everything. And yet just before I leave, I find out, oh, by the way, you have to pay $100,000 to climb the mountain. Now, I can't just hop on a plane and hope to work through this. This is a massive barrier that changes everything. Now, instead of going, oh my God, this setback's too big, I give up, I need to start again from zero. My new plan for climbing Mount Everest now has to include fundraising $100,000. It might mean I have to give up my ticket to the Himalayas now in order to figure out this new problem. So a setback essentially means, okay, this was way bigger or harder than I expected. Let's start again from zero. Let go of the old plan, let go of your sunk cost fallacy, your investment in something that was unreasonable, and just start over. And lastly, of course, is a failure. You went all the way through to essentially completing what you could complete, and you came up short. You've got to understand that you actually succeeded. It was the goal that was the failure. The goal, the outcome, the result that you wanted was unreasonable and unrealistic. How do you know that? Because you didn't get it. If it was reasonable, if it was realistic, as in aligned with reality, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You would have succeeded. If you tried and failed, the goal needs to be rewritten. The expected outcome was set too far ahead. This is why I always recommend that goals are based on action rather than outcomes. So rather than a goal like, I will make $1 million, the goal is, I will try my best to start a business and bring in clients. That is stuff that you can control. So have another look at your goal. What was the result that you achieved compared to the one you thought you could achieve, and how do you rewrite this goal to make it much more realistic? You may wish to achieve some great big thing, but maybe there are smaller achievements that need to happen first. You might, for example, want to break the world record for running a mile, but you realize you can't even run a whole mile yet. So that's the first goal, is just being able to cross that distance. So a failure just means the goal needs to be reduced to your current skill level. There's no shame in that, because that's a stepping stone towards the bigger one anyway. You're just being realistic. Are you a nice guy or people pleaser who wishes they were more assertive, more honest, and better respected by others? Since 2013, I've been helping people just like you discover their integrity and apply it courageously to build deep and meaningful connections, get respected by others, and become the confident person you've always wanted to be. Imagine being able to speak your mind without worrying what other people will think or worrying that it's the right thing to say, and being able to assertively stand up for yourself and your loved ones. Imagine never feeling the need to apologize for who you are or what you want, and being able to live carefree without shame or the I'm not good enough story in your head. Imagine going to bed knowing that you courageously took every opportunity available to you and you've got no regrets, because you always know what you should be doing in every situation. I'm so confident in my ability to help people like you unleash your highest level of self-worth that I give people a free coaching session to test what I'm doing. In this 1-hour session, we will uncover the biggest barrier to your confidence, whether it's an awareness problem, you don't know what you should be doing differently, or it's a courage problem, you know what you should be doing, but you find it too intimidating. I will guide you to make a breakthrough with your behavior to get through that barrier in a powerful way without feeling terrified and without destroying everything you love. I've had some people find this first session so powerful that I never hear from them again simply because they didn't need anything more after that. It launched them into the highest level of confidence that they've ever experienced. And if that's the result you get, I'm good with that. One client put it, this session was more valuable to me than 3 years of therapy combined. So if you're tired of trying to keep everybody happy, and you're sick of worrying what other people think of you, and you're concerned that your people-pleasing and conflict avoidance is going to damage your relationships, then come and have a talk with me. Worst case scenario, you get to experience what it's like to talk with someone who actually understands what it's like to be you. I've lived the nice guy experience for decades. I know it inside and out. I know that pain. Case scenario, and very likely, you will have such a powerful insight into a behavioral change that you can make in the next 24 hours to significantly improve your confidence, relationships, and career. All I ask is that you be honest, open to change, and willing to try something new. Why wait another 10 years to discover confidence when you can do it today. Fill out the brief form below to apply for a trial coaching session. Do this quickly because there are limited spots each month, and then I'll get back to you to book in a time to talk.